Good day and welcome to another A Week at the Plot. I can't believe it's already Monday. The weeks just seem to spin round so quickly at the moment. Yeah, I guess doing something every day. Oh look, catty! Can you see the catty? Little ginger catty. Honestly, there are so many cats around here. Maybe in the last 3 months, there's really been a sort of massive amount of cats. What are you doing? I had actually noticed that this tree here is actually being used as a scratching post. And I thought it couldn't have been the foxes. And now I do actually know it's the cats. So when I did that cat and fox video the other day, the cat that you just about saw had been scratching on this tree as well. And I can't remember. I think this is a lilac, but it may be a honeysuckle. It's either a tree lilac or tree honeysuckle. I can't remember which. I'm going to have to look back. Anyway, I am just going to be doing a quick job today. I'll show you before I start what I'm going to do. It's just tidying up the polytunnel. We've got quite a bit of seed sowing going to be happening this week, starting this week. From tomorrow, I think, we've got peas and sweet peas, we've got corn salad, coriander and parsley, and those are going to be sown in the polytunnel. We're also going to be sowing aubergine, but the aubergine that we sow is actually going to be taken home because it needs heaters, as if you've been watching our videos, you will know. So let me just show you the state of the polytunnel at the moment. Actually, it's not too bad, but yeah, it needs a tidy. The chicory down here, there's some leaves that I'm going to take off. Just give this a general tidy. And then these boxes up here, I think can go away. In fact, let's just go in. So yeah, I'll just tidy up these chicory and then really sort of concentrate over here. I want this bench really as clear as possible. Tidying here, some gloves to be taken home and washed. Richard will enjoy that. Things aren't too bad really. I mean, they're sort of neat, but they could just do with a tidy. I don't know why that is there. These are our dahlias. This is just a empty box, which I thought was quite nice. Some of our feed. Yeah, so it just needs a tidy. These boxes can just go in the compost. I'll take the plastic off. You don't want to put plastic in your compost. I don't know if there's anything in these. If they're not, they can be double stacked. And just check in those drawers. What I do need, I'm now reminded, is a new broom handle because our broom handle broke. So, and someone was asking, who was asking? I think Erica was asking how old the polytunnel is. This is its 4th growing season and it's doing pretty well, though we do have some protection here from wind and things because of the big buddleja, but also we need to be careful that we don't forget to cut the buddleja back because it could puncture the polytunnel. Anyway, rambling. Let me just get on and tidy this up a bit. I put the spare lettuce that I had in there and have tidied up the leaves. So taken rotten leaves out. Everything in here needs a water. Well, in fact, not everything. It doesn't need a water up here, but it does need a water down here. And then tidied up the bench. Got the seeds that I'm going to be sowing in the next few days there. So yeah, there's more space. It just, yeah, it gives me a better feeling of the space that I've got. Basically, it clears my head. These are the iris that are doing quite well. They're a metallic mix. No daffodils there yet. Those are our trays, which need a good brush out, or some of them do. Not all of them do, some of them do. Just stacked things there. And one thing I did want to say to you, sometimes you get hand tools. Not doing very well. There we are. Hand tools that don't have a tie. So what I do is I get a long, this is a, what you call it, bootlace. This one's actually a leather bootlace. But you could use another bootlace. And with this leather one, which is so long, I'm going to cut it into quarters. I'm going to soak a quarter of it in warm water for maybe an hour or so, and then squeeze it out, put it through here, and then tie a knot. The reason that I'm going to make it wet first is because when it dries out, the knot will really tighten, and that is great. So I need to do it with this one, and I've also got Dad's old dandelion weeder that I need to do that with as well. I only came across this again the other day. As you can see, that needs oiling. Right, that will do for today. I will see you again very soon. Bye. I've been meaning to get round to this job for quite a while. These are Rosemary cuttings and Buddleja cuttings, which I took originally to raise money for the allotments, though we weren't able to get to Hanwell Carnival last year, where we normally have a plant stand. So they're spare. And then in talking to Vanessa the other day, Vanessa of For Earth's Sake, she mentioned that her son's memorial garden needed a few plants, and I said to her, do you want some of our Rosemary and Buddleja? And she went, oh, fantastic. So what I'm going to do is effectively weed all of these and then package them up. I didn't actually bring any Amazon paper, the paper that you get in Amazon parcels, down with me. So I might have to go home and finish it off later on. But the first thing that I'm going to do is just give them a good weed. Hopefully you can see they're much tidier now. The plot over here was quite unkempt, and quite a lot of the weed seeds had blown over and set themselves in there. So I haven't taken these back to bare root. What I have done is I've scraped off the top layer and given everything a really good weed. These 16 at the back, which are, how many? There's 10 Rosemary and 6 Buddleja, I'll be sending to Vanessa for Xander's memorial garden. And these 4 at the front, you may be able to see I've put fresh compost on top. These I'm going to keep for our own use on this plot. So I'm now going to put these into the 1940s shed for no other reason other than we've got a lot of rain due, and if I'm going to be sending these to Vanessa via parcel post, I certainly don't want the soil to be saturated. So basically I'm putting them under cover. Right, I will see you again very soon. Bye. Oh, is there 2 of you today? Is there 2 of you today? That's Vanilla at the front. And that's Felicity at the back. Are you going to follow your mummy? There she goes. Bless. Good day. A bit earlier, I was starting to plan out the work that I need to do on the tomato vinyl bed. And one of the first things I need to do is obviously take up that vinyl. But the next thing that I need to do is actually mark out the size of the growing bed and also the extensions to the long beds that we've got here. As I was doing that, I was sort of looking around, and then I realized suddenly I have another job that I need to do before I can crack on with sorting out that tomato vinyl bed. Let me show it to you. It really makes sense to take out this cherry tree. Also, I have no idea whether it's a dwarf on dwarfing rootstock or not, so I don't know how big it's going to get. I love the bench here, potting bench here. It gets lots of sun. It's not really a potting bench, it's more a plants bench, but it gets lots of sun here. And the space between the bench and here has always been an issue. And actually, I might be able to bring this bed up a little bit, maybe an extra foot, if I get rid of that cherry tree. Yeah. I've got, this is a Bramley apple that we're giving to our local orchard trail. I'll give this to our local orchard trail as well, unless we've got a space on the site here that it can go. But yeah, I've got a spare pot, got quite a few of these, so I'm going to take this out so that it fits into one of those pots. It may feel like a pretty straightforward job, putting your spade down into the earth to get this shape is obviously pretty straightforward, but then of course you need to go underneath somehow at the base to cut this off, which will actually mean slicing further out and doing a sort of wedge with the spade that way, or actually further out here that way, to chop into the root further down. Yeah. First of all, I'm just going to do a circle around a spade's depth, the same circumference as one of these pots. So I measured in this tub how many spade widths the the tub was, and it's basically one spade width away from the actual growing stem. So I put a circle around about that distance away from the growing stem, and I've just pushed the spade, as you've seen, vertically into the soil. Now obviously what that has done is it's created a circumference where all the roots have been split. But how do I get that out of the hole? Well, I'm taking that out so that my spade can slide further down and under. So I've sort of dug that trench, if you like, all the way around and slid my... So when these cuts at the side here were made, my spade was vertical. When I've been doing these, the cuts have been at an angle, at a maybe... Oh no, what's that? 60-degree angle, 50-degree angle, something like that, basically so that I'm cutting the roots all the way around. I think that's fully severed. Just that's the bucket I'm hoping I can now lift this up and put it into. Go with the bottom rootstock, even though this is well grafted. Go as far bottom, yeah. Oh. Oh. Excellent. I'm really pleased I've done that. Just standing here, I hope you can see as well, it's opened up this space, obviously. Yeah, now I've got some spent compost somewhere, so I need to fill that hole in. I mean, all of these bits will go back in, no problem, but obviously this has taken out a good chunk of growing medium. Yeah, I've got some around here, I think. Right, still a hole. I've got more compost. Let me go and find it. I've dug up some ground from where I'm going to be putting the wildlife pond. Put it on top here and just compressed it in, which with my weight is pretty good. Great. I should have taken that cherry out a year ago, but you know what? Shoulda, coulda, woulda doesn't actually do anyone any good. It's taken out now, and I can now see all the space that I have to work with. So I can, you know, I know that I can quite happily come forward a foot or 6 inches. And even if I did that, I'd still have space for working. So I'd have space for working on the bench and I'd have space for working on the bed. Fabulous. Very, very pleased. Let's just come around here. So as I was saying, the first thing I'm going to do, hopefully tomorrow, is start marking out these beds with twine. Lift this one and mark that one out with twine too. Or maybe I won't lift it yet. I do want to crack on with this patch, but we are due a lot of rain over the coming days, I believe. So maybe the best thing is for me to come back and start marking these out, but actually leave this vinyl down. As I'm using coloured rope, it's that sort of plastic rope, poly something anyway. I'll obviously be able to put it over here and see it, so not taking the vinyl up at the moment whilst I'm doing the measuring with so much rain on the way might be the best thing. I know this is going to be the edge. Down here the strawberry planter is, that will be the utter edge. It might be 6 inches more this way, more towards the camera, than where the strawberry trough is at the moment. This will be moving in maybe a foot. But yeah, you know what, that's for another day, and that will actually be part of the series of starting a new plot. Yeah, but this is it for today. Time to go home and have a cup of tea. Bye. Good day. Today we're going to be sowing aubergine seeds, and I just had a closer look and I've just noticed that these seeds are actually sowed by December 2014. It will be interesting to see if they germinate and if we can grow from them. Obviously, this is part of our Grow Along series of videos, so a Grow Along icon will appear in the top right hand corner for this segment of A Week at the Plot. If you've got fresh seeds for aubergine, then you can just follow along with us and do exactly what we're doing. And I mean, if we get some seeds germinating from these 6-year, 1-month-old seeds, in fact they're older than that, packaged January 2013, so 8 years ago these were packaged. Wow. Your seeds, I'm sure, are fresher than this if you're growing aubergine seeds and growing along with us. I am going to be growing these in a little homemade windowsill propagator. You will have seen, if you've watched the early Grow Along videos, we did this. We got 2 mushroom trays and put them together. One is acting as a drip tray, effectively, the bottom one, and this one I have now put holes in the bottom so that water can drip through when we water this
into the bottom tray. We can then empty that water from the green tray if we need to. What I've also now done is I have another clear one which I have put holes in two of the corners, two of the matching corners, and we're going to match those corners up, and this top one will act as a propagator on our windowsill. It'll allow light in, diffused light, but it will allow light in, and it should retain a little bit more heat than if we just left it like that. Now I'm going to put compost in here. These seeds, just going back to my instructions, are to be sown 1/4 of an inch deep, so not very deep at all. So I'm just going to put some compost into the seed tray version of this, which is the one with holes in, and then I'll be back to you. These are the aubergine seeds. It will be interesting to see if after 8 years they germinate. So I've put compost, this is just multi-purpose compost, into this homemade seed tray. Just tamping it down with my fingers so that it's firm. And then, because these are quite old, I don't expect great germination from them. So I'm sort of sowing a little liberally. I do want to make sure they're separated though. So where two have landed together, I'm trying to separate them a little bit. And now I'm going to put 1/4 of an inch of compost on top. And just again tap it down, making sure that put my hand there, making sure that the seeds are in good contact with the compost, which they are. I'll give them a little spray, not too much because the compost is okay at the moment anyway, pretty damp. Then I'm going to slip that one into our green one, which is acting as our gravel tray or the drip tray to catch any water that goes through. And then I'm going to put that, just clear the top there, that on top. There's holes in here, hole there, a hole in this corner here, and a hole in this corner here, and I'm going to match those up if I can, match those up and stick this twine through the holes to hold the two of them together. I'm going to do that off camera because it's a bit fiddly, but you know what, the job will be done. There we are. We've tied these together with the wire, and also at this corner over here there is some room in there for air circulation, and you know what, we will just be checking on that every 3 days or so to make sure that the compost is warm enough. But in the meantime, this is coming home with me. I'm going to sit upstairs on the windowsill in our top room. Fingers crossed for germination. Bye. Good day and welcome to a rather breezy plot. It was very windy last night. AccuWeather said the winds were gusting, I think, to about 40 kilometers an hour, though it felt stronger than that. It certainly sounded stronger than that. But I've just come down, I've had a look around the plot, and everything is absolutely fine. There was a propagator lid that had blown off, but you know, that's been put back on, and I put a couple of those white tiles that were on the Heath Robinson coal frame on top of it to stop it blowing away again. But as I was looking around, I noticed something that rather excited me. And they're in these here. Where's my finger? There. Or shall I do that? That's better. They're in these here. I don't know why I did it the other way around. Let me show you. Can you see that little green growth there? Just there? That's a freesia. And can I see any more in there? Is that one? No. But the freesias are beginning to come up. Let's have a look at the other trough. So we have one here, one here, one over there. There's one there as well. So our freesias are beginning to come up, which is fabulous. I've taken the protection off them now, and I think I might move them onto a bench. Yeah, try and keep the squirrels away. But hopefully they will have well rooted. Let's look at our other spring bulbs. This has got King Alfred daffodils in, but I can't see any sign of them coming up yet. They were sown a bit later. If we come over here, these are our iris that are coming up, which is lovely. And then look, these are daffodils. And there's a few over there as well, look. So that's lovely. I did say I was going to top this up with some compost, particularly in this area where a squirrel or something has turfed some of that soil out. So I will get on and do that later. What I hadn't noticed is the storm damage. The mug has come off the post. There we are, back in its place. Let's just go down here. We've got some, oh yeah, these are coming up. Oh, it's been grubbed up again. These are, again, daffodils in here, maybe 5 or 6. Again, they've been grubbed up by something, but they're coming up, which is great. Let's check on the poly. Oh, actually, while we're here, look, there's a wild chicory coming up in the middle here. Yay! I love chicory. It's got such a fabulous flower. And of course then, once it's gone over, this is the chicory here. So this is what I've just shown you. And it looks rather majestic, even in its wispy winter state. Let's pop into the poly. Again, these are iris. Are they all iris? I'm going to have to look back. I'm wondering if these here, and that one there, wondering if that's something else I can't remember. And of course, no label. It doesn't matter though. I know they're spring bulbs. And these are daffodils and nothing coming up. Oh! Yeah! Oh! Oh, yes! I just noticed that the ground was actually being broken a little bit. So, oh, there's another one. Can you see in there? So, yay! Let's cover them up. Let's cover them up. They don't quite want to see the light of day at the moment, so let's cover them up. But yeah, that's great. So the daffodils here are coming up as well. Both of these pots may end up at home. Maybe. Maybe. Anyway, we'll leave it there for today, but I'm really glad that the freesias are up, and I'm glad that other things like the daffodils are making their way above the soil as well. See you again soon.
Bye. Good day. It's a bit of a funny old week this week. I have a long board meeting on Friday and also on Saturday, all of Saturday, with a virtual AGM for social farms and gardens on Saturday as well. And I just want to make sure that there are videos going out each day on Planet Vegetaria. So I'm filming some of these a bit earlier than I normally would do, because I normally film on the day that they come out on Planet Vegetaria, and then obviously they get edited together for a week at the plot. But this one is Thursday afternoon, and I think on Planet Vegetaria you'll see it on Saturday, but it will be in the right sequence when you see it as the upload on YouTube. Today, I've just got a rather simple job to do. As you may remember, the other day I was talking about some hand tools that didn't have a hanger. So I found that I had 3 that have got the hole but didn't have the hanger. One had a different type of, what do you call that? Well, that's a shoelace, but twine. It had a different bit of twine. But what I have done, and I mentioned I was going to do, was soak more of this bootlace in water. So I've soaked this in water. In fact, I left it in water for about a whole day. Not because it needed to be left in water for a whole day. A good hour in warm water will do fine. And I've got my tools that don't have their hanging things. So I'm just going to tie these together. I'm terrible at knots. My dad, who worked on boats, of course, was brilliant at knots. And he taught me a number of knots, but I sort of, yeah, they're in my long distance memory. They're not sort of picking up for today or what I want to do. In fact, maybe I've cut these a little bit shorter than I normally do. Yeah, there we are. That's the knot tied. Yeah, it's a little bit shorter. But the good thing is, when you, I'm just going to give that a really good pull when we're off camera. But the good thing is, when you wet something like this, even if it's, as long as it's not plastic, but if you wet something that is leather or a real twine, you know, a natural twine, and then you knot it and let it dry, that knot will actually get tighter. So whenever I do add these, let's giving it a tug. Whenever I do add these, I do make sure that I put them on wet. And now that can hang up there. I've got another couple to do, so I'll do those in a moment. One of them is a tool. Oh, I've got it here. It's a tool I lost. It's my dad's dandelion weeder, and I lost it. And it was actually in some compost. So the handle, the wooden handle, is deteriorated a bit, but I've oiled it, and I'll carry on sort of giving it a good oiling. So it needs a bit of TLC and it needs a little handle. But this is the actual tool that Dad used when we moved house when I was about 16, 17 in Guernsey. And we moved on to a brand new clos that had been built. In fact, I think we were the first or second people to move in. I think there was about 10 houses, something like that. And it was really, really sandy soil. I mean, incredibly sandy soil. But Dad built an amazing garden there, and the lawns were incredible. The lawns were just incredible. And he used this tool to
take out any things like dandelions that were in the lawn or that grew in the lawn. The lawn at that house was, it was like a bowling green. I mean, it really was. And Mum and Dad created such a unique garden. The soil was very, very sandy. It was near a bay called Port Swaff in Guernsey, and it was really, really sandy soil. In fact, I think there's many, many more houses have been built around there now. But very many happy memories of that place and the lawn. I'll just never forget the lawns. They were incredible, absolutely incredible. Yeah, literally like bowling greens, and they were so dense. That was the thing. The lawn was so dense, but Dad kept it cut really, really short, and it was such a pleasure to walk on with bare feet. I mean, it really was. And yeah, after a couple of years, I mean, we were there. How long was Mum and Dad there? I think I was about 16, and they moved 16 years ago, so that would be 38. They were there 22 years or 24 years, something like that. And the lawn, after the first sort of like 4 or 5 years, this tool was needed only very, very rarely, because yeah, it was pristine. Very happy memories. And of course, I have no idea whether those lawns are still there now, because the house was sold. Mum and Dad moved and to where Mum is living now. And I don't think, I think I've been back once, but that was many, many years ago. When we can go back to, when we can go back to Guernsey, maybe that's a trip I need to take. Or maybe it's not. Maybe keep the memories that are there. Keep the memories that are there. Yeah. Anyway, waffling. I'm going to go. I hope you're all well, and I'll see you again very soon. I hope if the weather's okay, I'll be able to get stuck into sorting out our beetroot bed, because most of the beetroot, I think there's mostly 2 harvests of beetroot left, and I'd like to give that bed a forking over, prepare it. And then of course the big vinyl beds. Anyway, that's for the future. If you haven't watched any of our sew along videos, then please do. I'd forgotten about those, but do watch those. And yeah, parakeets going over. I'm going to go. Bye.
Good day. It's snowing. Oh, I just love snow. I just love snow. I really do. I know many of you have so much snow you absolutely hate it, but coming from Guernsey where we had so little snow, I just love it. And look at this. Look at that. It's snow. It really is exciting. It's exciting for me. I got ridiculously excited looking at sheds on Wix yesterday, and this is far more exciting than that. So yeah, you know what, I'm really pleased this has come today. I'm going to just have a look around, look at some of the snowy bits, all of the snowy bits. Obviously there's not a lot of snow at the moment, but you know, it seems to be getting a little bit thicker as it comes down. But yeah, it's been such a busy week for me. You will know if you've been watching this on Planet Vegetaria, or obviously now on YouTube, that it's been ridiculously busy and things have been sort of out of kilter. I think it's flashing a little bit because there's snowflakes coming in front of the camera and it's sort of trying to focus. But yeah, I'm glad this has come today, because really I don't have the energy to sort out that beetroot bed. I really want to. I don't need to, but I really want to. But it will have to wait for another day. So actually, I'm just going to... Oh, I did get a little find. I did get a little find. Let me show you that. As I was coming down here, there was a shelving unit on a wall, a small shelving unit. So I picked that up. So I'll just put a bit of footage in here for you to see that. Great for books, and there's a indent shelf here which is fab. Okay, so that's a lovely shelving unit. Where it'll go, I don't know. It's nice and it's small enough for the shed, if you see what I mean. Having things that are too big in the shed doesn't really work. So that's nice and small. And also, I'll show you another day. I picked up, or I didn't pick up, one of our lovely plot holders here who works at a local garden centres, collected some compost for me yesterday. And he also brought me some plant stands that they use at the garden centre to put plants on. These are old ones that they're not going to be using, and they'll be fabulous to grow pumpkin up later in our season. But you know what, I'm just going to step out of shop now and let you see the snow falling, and I'm going to look at it at the same time. Bye.